Welcome back to Hotchi Motchi. We're going to be talking about deck building with restrictions today. I'm Steve.
I'm Chris.
I'm Eddie.
And today we're going to get into some of the restrictions that we use for deck building. So we have Eddie over here, who is the master of restriction, and taught some of us how to, really dive into what we can do with the deck building experience. So Eddie, if you kind of want to, just kind of walk us through some of the highlights of what you do when you're building on restriction and some of the things that you like to focus on when you're cooking that noodle.
Teach us the dark arts.
Well, I don't know if you can handle that, but I will talk about the deck building restrictions.
You can't handle it.
It really is about trying to open yourself up to more of the game, whether it be seeing it through a different set of eyes, through using cards that you don't normally use, or more even following the philosophy of Commander more than just building a deck that will be compatible with the meta. Sure.
I really like that you're bringing up that when you're deck building, you're building off the philosophy of what Commander meant to us. So I know that is kind of the paradigm has shifted a little bit now that there's a lot of pre-cons that are happening that kind of get rid of the deck building experience, so that way it makes it more accessible for people.
But even, I was going to say, I don't want to name names, but a content creator who I know a couple of us followed recently got out of doing episodes. And it made me kind of look at it in a different way, because, one of their beefs was that decks build themselves. You get a commander, there's, 100 different commanders you can pick from each set, and they just build themselves. You read the card and you immediately know 50 cards that are going to go in that deck. And then you're left with this niche little corner of what I'm going to put in there.
Yeah.
So hopefully today we're going to talk more about putting those limitations on yourself to get back to building a deck for you to do a certain thing and have it play a certain way. And it may not be the most optimal way, but I think for all of us, I've played with you guys, and if you're watching, you know that we like building decks. And I think it's more challenging and more fun to build a deck that is a story you want to tell, instead of the 65 to 60 best cards that go with the paragraph that's on your printed commander.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point of making sure that when you're deck building, the restriction almost breeds the fun, right? Because you will start building in the most optimal way in a optimal theme, right? So that way it's like, if you're building on budget, or if you're building on, everyone sitting in a chair, right? You'll try to find the best cards that are working within that, but it changes how the deck feels when you play it to kind of tell that story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely agree with what you were saying regarding the decks building themselves. I do feel that it's relatively easy to just pick your top 30 cards off of a website like EDH Rec or something of the sort. Not to say that that's a bad tool, but it is a bad habit to continually do that. You limit yourself, and that prevents you from being creative, I think. And for our group, at least, I feel that's what we're trying to bring. We're trying to bring to this table the atmosphere of creativity and sharing our experience and knowledge of the game with each other, while also beating each other up.
Yeah, right. We're all there to die.
One quick thing too, because you brought it up with EDH Rec, and I notice I do this a lot myself, because a lot of EDH Rec is a great tool, and it's probably my most visited website. I'm on there probably 20 times a day looking at things, but you can filter it by the cost or game changers, and then they have the drop down themes, and most of the time the theme I want is not on there because of what I'm trying to do. So it's really funny that my wife will yell at me, but it's like I'll have the computer and I'll have 4 different EDH Rec tabs open, because it's like I'm picking from 4 different commanders that kind of do the theme of what I'm wanting to do. So I'm using all of this cross-reference as a tool, because what I'm looking for in the restrictions that I've set are not there. So you kind of have to adapt the tool to work for you, because there's nothing wrong with having really dumb ideas that are not going to be on EDH Rec or Architect. And you're going to have to be the pioneer to create stupid decks. And you're going to have to be the one to make that tab that goes on there.
Yeah, chart the water. You're in a position where with so many cards, so in the past, I think it's the past 5 years, there has been as many cards printed as there was in all of Magic's existence all the way back to the 90s, just in the past 5 years. So I use EDH, right, just because I can't keep up with how many cards get printed. So I'm building a Jeskai deck right now that it was an idea that I had with a friend that when we were kind of talking about it is complete deflecting palm deck. So everything in the deck is meant to redirect damage either to like one of my creatures with Gideon's Sacrifice or to like a Stuffy Doll effect or just, actual deflecting.
You said
palm.
it is Jeskai?
And it's Jeskai, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very pillow fort that it will probably be built in a way that will not be fun to begin with. Right, because I'm just trying to protect myself the whole time.
I just love that that's a deck where you can use comeuppance.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it will feel very good to say when someone does something, you're about to get your comeuppance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's a good idea. And it lets you grab old cards that people have forgotten about, even all the way back to Alpha with reverse damage.
Yes.
I mean, you don't see that on the table, generally speaking. And
Right.
it's great to be able to incorporate that into decks.
Yeah, so building optimally in a very suboptimal way, right? And that's what I love about you bringing up the point of the philosophy of what you feel EDH is, right? Versus some of the stuff that we may see today that is kind of shifting, right? So we've all been there in the arms race, right? Hey, let's just build really powerful decks, and then they end up all fours and into CDH. So now it's, where can we go to kind of open that up, right? To really broaden what you're going to bring to the table.
Well, I want Eddie to talk about it because in one of our text chains today, he dropped some news of how he's even limiting himself even more. So I want...
It's spawned from a bit of a criticism of the direction of Magic the Gathering at the moment. But I felt that with what I felt was a bit of a departure of the traditional Magic, maybe a bit of regression on my own part, willingly is needed, where I'm just going to go back and play white border cards only. I'm going to go EDH.
Only Elder Dragon
Only
High.
Elder Dragon.
Your commanders can only be Elder Dragons.
That's right.
And that's it.
That's it.
All right. Well, usually people at the table have not played original EDH, right? Right. That they're so used to the commander
Most
format at
people
this point.
say- yeah. A lot of people say EDH.
That's a great idea.
But don't play EDH.
Right. Yeah. That the commander actually does nothing for you, right? And it's usually a card that has a.
How dare you? It eats up a lot of mana for upkeep.
Everybody loves a nice upkeep cost.
I recently did actually build another white border EDH deck.
It was Jund?
It was John. Yeah, Victus Asgadi.
Yeah.
It's just
Best art ever made.
It's all the old mana flares and doublers and large X spells
Okay.
and some of the old hate as well.
Oh, good old red hate.
Steve loves
Good old red hate. Bring land destruction back.
It brings confusion when you play turn one the rack on somebody. You're like, what?
Right. You just wins to change them really quick.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
That's a change. I love it.
Wheel of Fortune is a little pricey, so you got to do wins choose, and
It's true.
that's another topic of the restriction. Is some the cards are very expensive, so you look to build using quote unquote suboptimal cards, but it's still accomplish your goal.
I always forget, what was our budget? 79 cents?
79 cents for
That's really hard to find out.
So we played a pod that the four of us had to build a deck that every card was 79 cents or under.
It's probably a fantastic game.
It's pretty good. I forgot what you played. I played Mardu Enchantments, Mardu Sagas.
I played Aaron, Aristocrats, sacking to put +1/+1 counters on the whole team, go wide.
That's awesome.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, budget building is really fun because you get to explore the cards that do something similar to an expensive card, but kind of change the dynamic of what's happening inside of it.
It's just not as optimal. So it's like you're paying an extra mana or two, but a lot of times people don't know what you're doing because you're playing cards they've never seen before. So it's
Right.
you don't get the usual flip out hate like, oh, I see what you're doing. It's like, I have no idea what that card is or what that card does, or
Yeah, it's really fun when you build with a budget restriction and you're seeing your pieces come together, but no one has any idea, right? Because of how weak everything looks. But once the 4 to 5 card combo comes together, it's a pretty strong chain that starts.
That says something about like the arms race in Magic, because yes, no one really knows what you're doing, but at the same time, they're getting their 4 or 5 pieces together,
Right.
and you don't know what they're doing because it's a bunch of random stuff. And so, I mean, it's a game that's going to play the same anyway. When you're playing in a higher power pod and they have optimal cards, you're just getting there a turn or two later.
Right.
But you're digging through your bulk and your draft chaff, and you're finding use for cards that are fun and do a lot of those cards that are cheap. Even rares and mythics are big, splashy, fun plays. They're just overcosted, and that's why they're 50 cents.
Right.
But when you pull it off in a game, it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's one of the things that gets missed in how some new pods are playing, right? To where everything is optimal, that you never remember the optimal win, right? You always remember the chaos warp that brings the same thing back, right? Or, something off of a discover or something that throws in variance to what's happening in the game versus it going in a very linear way. And building on restriction really helps you get to those points. So I have a jury deck that is all commons and uncommons, and it's a Rakdos Sacrifice deck. This deck hums after like turn 4, turn 5, right? That you'll get a couple of pieces. You do need 2 or 3 that start interacting with each other, but I'll use like Wormcoil Larva instead of Wormcoil Engine, right? And so no one's ever scared of the 3/3, you know.
It's cute. It's cute. You can be afraid of
it's just a little worm. It's just a little guy, you know. And so once you sacrifice it, and then it opens and spreads out, does the same thing that Wormcoil Engine does, right? That you get the same play just at 1 mana less on the Wormcoil Larva, you know, because it's 5 instead of 6. That you'll still be able to get those plays in. So it allows you to dig into the other 40,000 cards that aren't being used, right? To find that one that gives you that same effect, but not something that you see in every deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the card last night when we played in the game? It was a common from Capenna. What was it, Waste Management?
Yes.
And that was the winning play. Everyone loses 2 life, you draw a card.
Yeah.
But it has some high cost as a common, and I got to play it for free. I was at 3. One other person was at 3. Eddie was out, and the other person was at 2. And I hit Iron Fleet Daredevil, where I got an instant or sorcerer out of a graveyard for free. Or no, not for free, but you cast it, but I had treasures. Mm-hmm. And I hit that out of Adrian's yard. Killed the guy at 2.
Amazing.
Brought Adrian and I both to 1. And the card I drew was a pirate with haste, so that I was able to put it on the board and swing up. Yeah. So of all the good cards in decks, I played a overlooked common that I had never seen played before.
I've never heard of it.
Got the win.
Yeah. Right. And so like you guys at this point will probably remember the play, you know, for years, right? Mm-hmm. That it involved a common from a set that no one...
Everyone was dragged out in the mire, and it was some crap cards that no one's played before, and that's what swings the game.
So are there any decks that you guys have that you've built on restriction that turned out to be... So I've kept my jury deck, and I will never break it up now with how fun it's been. Are there any decks that you guys have put together that have reached the status of never unbreakable? Chris, yeah. I know you're a little different. If you break everything.
You break everything apart, don't you? There's a few decks that are created with the idea of restrictions or heavy themes that I don't think I'll break apart. Primarily the white border deck that I have right now. That's so good. Chromium, original Chromium as the commander. So it's following EDH rules, all old cards, all white border. But the goal is to enjoy those older cards that you don't see. And as opportunity presents itself, get the whole deck signed by the artists, because I appreciate those artwork as well.
Yeah.
And that's actually one thing I wanted to bring up when you were discussing the large number of cards and some of these commons you'll never see played on a table. There's artwork on those cards, and you can say, oh, that actually is a nice piece of art. You don't ever glance at them because they might not be that $5 card, $10 card ever.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you can't be appreciative of the artwork. So building with restrictions and forcing yourself to see these cards give you a bit of appreciation for it as well.
We were talking about on the way here to Hotchi Motchi World Bunker. One of my favorite cards artwork is Old Snow Forest. With
It's amazing.
the rock with the runes carved in it and the snow light coming over the top. It's amazing.
So I'd like to tell you about a little story about artwork for a card that's a common that took me like almost 3 years to get the playmat done. So one of my favorite arts in the game is done by Alex Rex, and it's the Terror card that has it starts as a body. It's a circular mode. It looks like an infinity. It's a circle. It has a guy that's just sitting there, and out of his mouth is the foot of another guy that's only the muscular portion of him, and then the last piece of it has another foot in the mouth, and it's a skeleton, right? And so that's the whole art. So I reached out to Alex Rex, and I was like, well, first I went to Inked Playmat, and I was like, hey, can I get this printed? And they're like, oh, it's copyrighted, so we can't do anything, which I should have known walking in the door. However, I reached out to Alex Rex, and I was like, hey, man, I love your art. I'd love to be able to put this on a playmat. What could I do to pay for the licensing for, just to run a couple of them? And he's like, well, actually, WotC owns it. Or it was Magic Online Art. Owns the actual imagery to be able to resell. And so then I found out that if they do not have the playmat, that you have to get 25 people to request the same art. So then I was like scurrying like in different LGSs, and I was like, hey man, do you want to sign up for this? I mean, you don't really have to do anything. You just want to sign up for it. And so I got 24 other people with me to do it for them to launch it. So shout out to the Affinity guys, because I think like 10 of them came from there for it to be done. And so they put it into pre-order. And then I started putting it in a bunch of Facebook groups. And so at the end of the day, playmat printed 3 years later.
Nice.
So
All because of a cool artwork.
Yeah, it was all cool artwork. And now I run it in like 2 different decks, the art, the card itself. And it always feels really cool to bring the playmat out now of a guy that it's like, hey, you're the reason why this card game is actually so fun, right? Is the artist. So I know in the future we'll probably do an episode about artists that just themselves to highlight them, right? So that that way people can enjoy that side of it. So it's a great point. Great point.
I will say though, one of the fun sides about making a budget restricted deck is, yes, I break up every deck I build. I think that 79 seconds deck is still intact because there's nothing worth pulling out of it to put in another deck. Like, or if there is, I've got multiple copies of it. So it's not like I'm taking cards from it to make new decks. I think it's still just hanging out. I don't think I ever sleeved it.
It's a cool ass.
I think it's a
piece
Ruffle
of garbage.
Shuffle.
I might still have mine together.
Yeah.
And though I do know I have kept together for the longest. It was one of the first Pauper decks that I built, which leans itself into budget, of course. And that's the Maja Landfall Board Wipe No Permanence deck. There's nothing in there that is worth anything. But it was a very interesting concept to try and build. And I do enjoy that. You get to just grab it off the shelf in the grocery store rubber band that I have it wrapped in and bring it to the table and shuffle it up and not care.
How great of a feeling is it when you open up your case and then you bring out the unsleeved deck and then just get a deep cut into it?
Absolutely.
A good bridge.
It's like a kid again. Yeah. Like just not caring. It's just a piece of cardboard.
You have some rando in your group and they're like,
Yes, exactly. Because they have the other people in the LGS hear that sound and they're like, what?
What is happening?
Blasphemy.
Now, I do know that you have, I've actually talked about this deck. So your reputation has preceded you of, I've talked about one of your restricted decks to people that when you are not around because of how great this deck is. So when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know where he's going with this. And when I have had the opportunity to play with Eddie, I don't know the theme of the deck. I kind of have to figure it out until the end of the game. And then I'll be told what it is if I don't figure it out. And as he was playing this deck, I was like, there's so much food being created. And this is supposed to be like an equipment deck.
You're talking about dog meat.
Yes.
Dog meat. Dog meat was one of those decks where I wanted to challenge my play group to figure out what it was. What was the theme behind this? And it ended up being, the theme is to be taken quite literally. It is dog meat food, where the order that you are to play this deck, in fact, is create food of animals, feed them to hobbits, whom have these wonderful synergies with foods, and then the hobbits somehow get eaten by larger creatures with the devour ability. You play it out that way, and it throws everybody off because you expect the commander to be the lead, and not following what everyone else is doing brings some joy, I think, to the play group and especially myself. But that one was a very thematic and restrictive deck, both budget, because I did not want to play anything that, to bring surprise to the table, people would know, but also had to fall within those restrictions of the theme of the deck.
How dare you assume I don't know what field tested frying pan is in dog meat?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up like 4 or 5 turns into the game, and I was like, why is there just food and hobbits here? Like, it was so out of left field, and and that's why I wanted to bring it up today, so people could hear about some of the ideas that you brought to the table. And I've seen others, and we'll talk about those as well, that have left such a memorable impact of when it really comes from the place of, we are sitting with 3 other people that are our friends, and hey, these hobbits are going to eat food, and then other things are going to eat hobbits because it's dog meat.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Part of the deck building for me when it comes to these restrictions or themes is that I get together with everyone to play and have fun. And I don't necessarily want the games to go quick because I enjoy the time with my friends. And even when I'm playing with new people at the game store, I have nothing against getting to meet new people. But so to bring them into my world, using the deck as the window to my world, it's fun, it's enjoyable to me, and I like to continue to do that. However, that this creativity of creating decks allows me to.
Yeah.
There's a caveat to that, though, because that's funny you say that, because that literally just happened to us a couple weeks ago in our game, and I made a Clement the Worrywart deck that's all frogs. And if their artwork had frogs, it was going in. So it was a meme deck. And a rando just pounced all over me. It was like, I know what this deck does. I've seen it before.
Your frogs are too strong.
You've not seen meme frog deck before. So just read the room, threat assess properly. Just because you've played a game. I mean, I feel like dog meat can be made strong, but not when it's made with trying to feed dogs to hobbits to feed to dragons.
Yes.
So read the room. That's what fears my other restrictive deck. It's funny that we're talking about it, is I'm building a restrictive deck. I'm building a Corval deck, which again, if someone says I'm building a Corval deck, right, all sphincters get tight.
Yes.
And the restriction on my deck is every card outside of basic land has to have the word old in it. So not sure how good that's going to be with a bunch of kobolds and
you hit like a kobold.
Gold dragons and things like. So read the room. That's all I'm saying.
There's always an asterisk, of course.
Read the room. Sometimes someone's playing a meme deck, and let's all just have fun.
I would say that a telltale of a meme deck is if someone is reading the flavor text, they are probably not going to come out of left field with the 2-card combo, right? So I had a Krovax deck that I built that I used Sabo for the colors of Rakdos, and the only time that she got played is when Krovax needed to sacrifice her. Because in the lore of Krovax, he ends up killing Sabo to become the Evan card, and the card itself is designed around that's when he ascended. So every card in it either had Krovax in the picture, it was his card, or he was in the flavor text. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of bad Krovax cards. You ever seen Deathstroke? You're not killing anybody with that card.
I did the same thing with Lord Kanda from original Kamigawa. Some real bad cards.
Real bad.
Makes you lean into Bushido a lot. Probably the best card in that was Kanda's Banner, the legendary
Oh, it is a good card.
equipment that gives a buff, but pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. I think that was played on Not Your Average Meta with you, Eddie.
Yeah.
Go check it out if you want. Just Google that. But yeah, Lord Kanda Tribal. Again, it's great fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's all about building restrictions. It makes it fun. Who else is playing a Lord Kanda deck?
Yeah, and so like reading the room, like so in the Krovax deck that I had there was Diabolic Intent, right? Very strong card, but I'm going to get an Evan car, right? So as you're playing through it, when you're having the conversation with people at the table of like, hey man, what does this deck really do, right? And more often than not, if you're playing a true casual game, even with people that I haven't played with before, if you're kind of open about, hey, what's your deck going to do when you go and tutor, right? That usually I've never been rope-a-doped, right?
I'm just going to tutor this. Psych! It's a 2-card combo, and I won the game.
Got you.
But it's really interesting that you bring that up because I'm working on something similar, and I feel like that is another form of restriction. Now you're talking about white cards, you're talking about budget, but we're literally restricting how we play the deck.
Yeah.
And one of the decks I'm working on, which has changed, it was originally called Two Old Guys Looking at Famous Birds. And it was all legendary dinosaurs, or legendary dragons. And then Sarkhan and Reiki were in it. I've now changed it. It's 3 old men looking at famous birds. And one of them is the 5th or 6th Doctor. He's going in there now because he makes copies of legendary creatures that are not legendary. But not only is that the restriction that all creatures have to be these 3 old guys and legendary dragons, and the commander is Tiamat, but I've set the restriction that if Tiamat's cast, instead of searching for 5 dragons, I'm going to flip off the top until I hit 5 dragons. And those are the dragons I've searched for.
Oh yeah, it's a super fun way to do it.
So you're not... It lets people know, like, this may be a strong card, and it's got a ton of inherent built-in combos, and I'm totally not doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I'm just going to flip 5 cards, or 5 dragons, and that's it. That's who's going in.
So you're saying you fixed Tiamat?
No, it's probably... I still haven't built it. It's still going to be terrible, because those 3 old guys are still really good with a bunch of famous dragons.
It's just going to keep getting in the way.
But
standing around.
They just want to
hanging
look.
around.
They just want to look. But that's another way to restrict it, is how you play the deck.
How you play, absolutely.
And one of the guys in our group made a clue deck that was like all about telling a story. And so like literally every card he played, he had like the commander's now doing this.
So
and
fun.
this is the story. And this is what he's doing next when he casts spells. It was like, this deck is not good, but you're enjoying playing it. We're enjoy hearing the story and why you picked each card. And it's fun.
Restriction isn't just limited to the building of the deck. You can have a relatively higher power deck in your hands, but you restrict yourself as how you play it.
I brought a Ferrari. I'm only going to drive 25. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the grocery store.
Can't drive 55.
Wouldn't want to. Going to the grocery store.
Too fast.
Don't have a scared grandma.
So another budget that I like to build on is theme of either the shard or tribe or the guild. That when I am building it, so like when I'm, you'll come to find that I'm a Gruul player, right? So some of the
I got a message from Steve, and he was like, "Build a Gruul CDH."
and they never see it coming.
Do it.
They never see it coming. Gino also has a Gruul.
We did it. Gino and I both did it. You've got to do it.
Come with us.
Peer pressure. Just Gruul CDH.
No one will expect when you're sitting at the
No
table
one
and they're like,
expects
"Oh,
the
it's
Gruul
CDH. 3 Gruul CDH decks get played." It's going to be fantastic. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. I mean, we're all going to be Thoracled because there's like almost no way to stop it in Gruul, right? So the first blue mage that we run into, like we're just done.
Pithing needle.
Yeah, I'm out, right? And so mine is I built Ruikthar, and I feel it was like one of the times that I actually felt really bad after playing. So we ended up playing CDH, and we moved into the following game, and I was breaking apart the new Zur, because I tried building it with all old enchantments like Monsoon and stuff like that, and bioconsumption and things of that nature. However, the way that the deck plays is it is very much just an Esper deck, right? That I'm starting to restrict down things that you're doing, but in reverse, right? You can keep playing them, but you're going to be paying life for it, sacrificing creatures if you do something, right? So it's not a true like Esper stacks. But then at the end of the games, one of the players that was in the pod was like, "Do you just build decks that aren't fun for other people?" And I was like, "No! Oh, I become that person." But it was because I was playing Ruikthar CDH, and then it was a deck that I was breaking apart, and so I had to apologize, profusely and say, I am a Gruul player, I swear it. Like I'm a total Timmy.
You love old color hate.
I do love color hate because it's either a really good card or a really bad card, right? So if you play Insight and no one's casting green spells, dead card, right? But if there's a mono green player at the table, you're drawn through the whole game, right? And so it is a cool way to. It's one of the restrictions that I build on is instead of doing just mass board wipe and mass hate, that I'll lean more into the color hate of the old cards for the color that have the least amount to interact with, right? And so that's why the old color hates were created, right? Is that our color is inherently bad at doing this, right? And so we will go to that color pie and then try to, restrict down or bounce or draw off of whatever you're doing. So do you guys play the color hate
You're
cards?
saying it's okay for me to play flash fires in my deck is what
Yes.
you're saying. Excellent.
Yes.
I have your permission to add that to my channel.
No, you're not in our weekly group.
I can say anything right now, and Chris just pays the price. Just FaceTime me in the game.
There you
Like,
go.
listen,
You're good.
you got the stamp. I mean, you played the color,
Absolutely.
So
It's your fault.
Okay, I'll start with Gloom. I'll add Gloom to the deck, and then we'll see how it goes. And then the next game, I'll have Flash Fires.
I'm just playing white COP everything.
no one ever expects to see a balance type card come out anymore.
Because it's banned.
Well, yes, the actual card balance is banned, but there are many other cards that you could put in that still do that.
Balance that you can
There's
still
Magus
do.
that does it. There's is it Balancing Act? Let me hold, please.
Sounds like an uncard.
No, it's not an uncard.
Balancing act. It's got like two clowns on a seesaw or something.
Saw in half.
In outer space.
Legendary ships.
Oh, I can't believe I just forgot the name of this card.
Editor, don't edit any of this out.
Yeah, leave it in.
Leave it in.
Leave it in.
Let's
Show
struggle.
people my true boomer brain failing. This is too much in here. There's too much.
Us behind the scenes bitching. Legendary vehicles are commanders now.
No, so it's a 5-mana sorcery. It's 3 and 2 white.
Say that again because I was talking.
So if you guys can help me remember the card, it's 3 and 2 white. When you cast it, it says the player with the least amount of permanents, everyone sacks down to that permanent for that meta.
Oh, I do know that.
For how many cards the person has in their hand that has the least amount of cards, you discard down to that.
My brother-in-law used to play it all the time. Keep going.
Oh, wait a minute. It is Balancing Act. I should have trusted myself. So it's not 5, it's 4. So no one would expect to see you play Balancing Act. So it is a white sorcery that is 2 and 2 white, that each player chooses a number of permanents he or she controls equal to the number of permanents controlled by the player who controls the fewest. Then sacrifices the rest. Each player discards cards from his or her hand the same way, right? So it's an old white card that now white has a lot of catch-up ramp, that they didn't have access to any of that, right? So if you played against a green player that, ramp for, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 is all ramp, right? Now you're effectively probably somewhere between 3 and 5 turns behind, right? So the card was originally designed because white was not good at doing those things, right? However, what the game is, as the game has moved forward and evolved, there are instances that let you phase out all of your permanents, right? And so when you cast this and you hold the priority and Teferi's protection, oops, I have no permanents.
I'm gonna restrict you from playing that.
It's only a tier 4s. Yeah. It's I would say if you are going to do it, have a plan, and then ask everyone, hey, do you want to scoop? Because, as my good friend Bill Smith has always shown me, as a true control player, you can always scoop. Move to the next game. It's fine.
Dice to removal. Same argument.
Right.
Someone's got to win the game.
Right. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to win.
Even in a restricted game.
Yes.
Someone's got to win.
Yeah. So that's why when we're saying, know the people that you're playing, or, read the room, right? Usually these decks that play these kind of cards, you can kind of see those types of things happening, right? Because there's like other kind of stacksy effects that are going to be playing into here, right? That there's going to be, Aura of Silence, or, man, I'm just failing today at remembering. Aura of Silence.
World Ender. World Slayer.
Hit him with the old World Slayer.
I may have done that once.
No.
Right, but you just scoop, play the next game. You probably don't know. You don't.
Out of spite, I rolled for like 3 more turns.
Did you? As a player that has World Slayer to table, I like the player that's like you, Chris. That's like, let me see if we can all come together. Can we do this?
I mean, the turns are quick. You got
Right.
no lands. You're just drawing and hopefully putting on a land. But then when that land's gone, just save turn. I mean, you only need 2 or 3 turns, and then that game is restricted to no funds.
Yeah, I would say probably don't play those decks as the last deck of the night, right? Like, make it early. Let everyone know.
I can always scoop and then wait for you in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's true.
I know where you're going to get spicy nuggies after.
Yeah.
I feel called out.
I will ram in.
Yeah, it's never good to hear from 2 cars back when you're in the Taco Bell line of saying, "I remember the World Slayer."
Hey, I've only heckled you in a Taco Bell. It's okay, it's fine.
Spit in this man's burrito.
One of the other restrictions that I think all of us kind of did it anyway, but it's, I think, more prominent now since the brackets, is game changers.
Yeah.
I try to not ever have more than 2 as like a limit.
Interesting.
And I don't really ever run them outside of some lands. Like in really hungry decks, I'll put in like Ancient Tomb or something like that. Like I still leave myself a little room to play a game changer if it makes sense. But I'm not putting 5 or 6 or 7 of them, even if they are on theme. Just, there's other fun cards.
How do you feel your deck has played with removing those out?
I feel fine.
Yeah? Do you still feel that it runs the same? And
Yeah. I mean, again, I feel like for the most part, a lot of the people I play with are in the same boat. So again, I feel like when everyone's kind of done it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that your consistent play group kind of manages, and we're like, hey, we're going to kind of exit this to see what it starts breeding.
It just, Eddie mentioned it before, and I think for people who've seen our episodes, know we like the long stories. So, I mean, to get rid of some of those optimal game changer cards and to get rid of tutors and let the game tell a story, I think that's more what we're into. And if you're into that, then great. I hope you dig the channel and hear our stupid stories. There's nothing wrong with playing a bunch of game changers and playing fast paced. You get more games in, you'll do more splashy, crazy things.
Yeah, it's pretty cool with removing the game changers out. So the game changer list itself has, as it's a list where they're going to start bringing cards back into the format that may get a banning, or watch list cards that may get a ban to move forward with, right? That it's really cool to start using it as that template of like, hey, these things are known to be habitually a problem.
I just love that it's on EDH Rec as a game changer. And it's like, cool, I'm not going to run that card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, some of the cards are kind of weird, right? Because I get into conversations with people about like what they feel are game changers and what they don't feel. And got into the conversation the other day with a person that was talking about crop rotation, right? So it's kind of a weird one, right? That it is a 1-mana tutor. It also gets the strongest card in the game, right? Because none of the other cards can be played without it. However, if you do not build your deck with strong lands, and the only card that you're ever getting is Myriad Landscape, right? That's one of those game changers that you could have a conversation with a table and say, hey, I've got one. It's crop rotation. I have Myriad Landscape.
I turn to crop rotation to go get my Temple of the False God.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree regarding the game changers. It's similar to taking those top cards on EDH Rec and just, if you want that effect, give yourself some imagination to go and find something similar that is less optimal, but then we'll also have your table say, oh, I've never seen that card before, perhaps, and you can use that as your basis for the deck build. Maybe take it even further, not just one or two cards. Let's see what else we can introduce into the game that might be new or refreshing.
And don't get me wrong, that's what I'm saying. I still leave one or two, the option for one or two in there. I personally just don't want to be like, I'm playing blue, I'm putting in Sightcraft, I'm putting in Wrist Extender.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
crop rotation is like, if you need it, great. I mean, if it's tantamount to what you're trying to do, there's nothing wrong with playing that. I mean,
no one forgets an instant speed Bajuka Bog. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. When somebody goes to cast a reanimate and you do an instant speed Bajuka Bog, why? Because it's graveyard hate. I'm in. Stamp it. I'm in.
Stamp it.
Stamp
ship it.
Double stamp it.
Triple stamp or double stamp. It's good to go.
Stamp it.
Watch me. But yeah, I just, some of those, and like I said, that's why I leave myself room. Maybe, if I want to put a crop rotation in there, all good. If I want to put in, I don't know, if I'm playing a secret commander, which I love building those as well. Shout out if you've never built a secret commander, do your thing. But if you need to put a worldly tutor in there to get your secret commander, that's fine. I just personally don't need, a number 4 home run hitter in every single deck. Mm-hmm. I don't need Smothering Tithe in every white deck. I don't need Ristic Study in every blue deck.
Yeah, all three of us build a lot on restriction. Most of our decks are built on some kind of restriction, right? So we are actively looking to get away from, even before the brackets and the game changer list came out, we were actively looking to exit the cards that you more commonly see in pods, right? Because there is so many. So it's probably a good idea to kind of tell you guys how we search for these restricted cards to stay away from the game changers, right? So the game changers that I really try to stay away from are the really low mana efficient ones, right? That the 1 and 2s and, sometimes even 3s that are on there, right? So these are like most of the tutors. I'm not a big tutor guy to begin with, right?
Free counter spells.
Yeah, free counter spells I'm not a big fan of. I mean, yes, they do come with restriction, but do they?
Generally, I restrict myself off of budget. As much as I enjoy the cards and opening the packs and pulling the expensive cards, I don't necessarily like playing with them. I just feed it back into the ecosystem of the card game and continue my gambling with the packs. So those.
If you ever want to get those cards that Eddie opens, go to International MTG. He'll sell it to you.
I may have a TCG player store by that name.
We'll skip the union busting thing for one time just because Eddie's a cool guy. But other than that, fuck off.
That's a subject for another.
Yeah. And do we get the honker? Is there something
Yeah, we could probably figure something out to start putting into these things so that way we can release them.
Can Matt just take that noise? And that'll be there you go. Yeah, work to be done.
Where was I?
Budget.
I got distracted by Hotchi. Okay. So I generally restrict by budget, which removes a lot of those cards. But I agree, the hyper efficient cards just aren't fun for me. So switching to something else, something less efficient is right up my alley.
Yeah, I'd say that when we all get the opportunity to play in each other's different pods and stuff like that, we very much are all in the same vein of we enjoy the variance of the deck, right? That we've got about 60 slots, right? Give or take a few. The cards that we're going to be able to put in, you need some of your stuff that's going to just make the deck work. So really, you're probably down to like 40 or somewhere around there of cards that you actually get to enjoy playing with. And so instead of always going to grab the same one, it's kind of how I feel when it comes to like tutoring or most of the stuff that ends up on the game changer list.
I would just say this, and if you're in a group that plays a lot of those optimal 1, 2, and 3 cards, it's no fun, and that's why sometimes it's weird when you have a rando at like your LGS or when we have our pods and then we're missing someone and you get like a random that comes in and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the random that comes in, but again, when we have a long storytelling game, that's what we like to play, and someone comes in a little bit more efficient, either A, they're going to win really quick, or B, we're going to notice it and gang up and try to bring them back down. So then nobody really feels good. So what I would say is if your pod, if your group plays those quicker games, have the conversation and try to build decks without them for once, just so that everyone's playing it, and just give it a try. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think if everyone's kind of on that same level and they're not using super optimized cards, or if you set the budget 79 cents for everyone at the table, that, you're all bringing a baloney to a baloney fight. You'll see that, it's fun to play some of these cards. I just think a lot of us got burnt out on seeing the same cards after a while. It was always a heuristic setting. Always do you pay the one, tap of the sign, smothering tithe, force of will.
We've been playing long enough to where we start seeing these things built into different shells, right? So we have been there, right? So it's not that we did not play the cards, when they were at their height, or at least when we had them in a lot of our decks. It's just after playing that many, right, and building so many decks, that if you can consistently use what's on the game changer list, it really makes most decks feel the same, regardless of who the commander is and how it's piloting.
Yeah, I think a heavy underlying philosophy to all this would be just to keep an open mind and remember that there are a lot of options out there for you, that you don't have to always play optimally, and putting some restriction on you can actually open your options.
Everyone's got boxes of cards somewhere. Some have more boxes than others, but everyone's got boxes of cards that you bought them, they're yours, and they're just sitting in a box in the dark somewhere. So crack them open, find some of those old cards that aren't optimal, and put them in a deck.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Great point that, we obviously, as, hobbyists of the game, right, that we have so many cards that are just sitting around, or even if you, have only bought 2 or 3 boxes, right, that there are a ton of commons and uncommons that are just sitting there that do something similar, or they have a hilarious name, or they have, if you ever switcheroo someone, right, that card is not optimal, but everyone will remember you giving away your Sapperling to get a Galta.
Didn't someone just switcheroo the other night? I feel like that was just played. I feel like someone did just switcheroo me, and it wasn't you. How dare you?
I want to meet that person.
I want to pet that dog. Another thing I'll say too, which is kind of funny, and again, it's just anecdotal, but I remember it was both of these games were in a pod with Eddie, and I'm not going to name names, but someone played a Blood Moon, and I was like, well, I'm screwed. And it just didn't feel appropriate to the deck. It just was like, I'm in this color, and it's a hate piece, and I'm just going to put it in there, and it's just going to bog the game down. And the other night, Eddie was playing the Jund all white border, which had a Chronicles Blood Moon. So it was a white border Blood Moon. Not at all salty about it. And I feel like, full disclosure, I was playing mono red. Did not care. But I feel like the other people who were not playing mono, were playing, well, one was playing Rakdos and one was playing, I think, Azorius. But it somehow didn't feel Staxy. It felt appropriate. It felt in line with the game, because you were playing an old ass Jund white border Vivictus deck, and it was like, cool, there's a Blood Moon. I would expect to see that Blood Moon.
Well, I take away, but I also give, because the next turn I played
a Mana Flare.
So I help.
The hand strikes and gives a flower. But it's like when you see those cards in their milieu and their habitat, like in an all white border, I was like, it made me laugh seeing a Blood Moon instead of being like, I'm hosed. And some of the people like who were a bit more hosts still laughed and were like, all right, let's make it happen. I've got mountains now.
Yeah, it's a great take on, with us coming off the back of Game Changers, that the true intent, I believe, of where Commander and EDH is trying to go with everything that they're doing with like brackets and everything else like that is really meant for the intent of the build, right? That the intent of the build dictates more than anything. And it like goes hand in hand with the restrictions that you're putting on the deck, right? If you are building your deck with any type of restriction, then you would inherently know what the intent of the deck is, right? It's in that gray space that you don't find it in. And building within budget, I mean, they're probably some of my most fun decks that I've ever built, right? Because there's more time put into it, right? There's more things that when you see the cards, there's usually like a stack of 30 cards that are maybes, right? And so you play it a couple of times and then you cycle a couple cards in, cycle a couple of cards out. Unless you're Chris, you just build it and then take it apart. That
I eat an egg on it. I've done a push-up. What the hell else you want me to do?
That it allows you to start going into if you're seeing the deck perform a certain way. So there's been a couple of decks that I've built, Paul Gruel, that they were leaning more towards the non-creature spell like hate of things, right? So if you're playing creatures, you're fine. #Ruikthar. That it started really playing into I built the deck to where it played almost all non-creatures. And so the cards that I was playing are, they're all group slug stuff, like Spell Shock and stuff like that. And so when Ruikthar's out, that I'm dying with you, right? And so I think when I played that deck and Ruikthar was out and people were doing things, I was doing myself for 6 at the same rate as everyone else, right? So the intent is a huge bar to gauge it.
The magic hill I will die on 100% is the brackets were meant for people playing outside of their pods. The brackets were meant to go to an LGS or go to an event and then everyone has a more cohesive page of I'm playing a 1, I'm playing a 3, I'm playing a 5, so that people aren't just saying I have a 7. If you have a regular meta, you can play whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like for some reason, the only thing that was ever a constant was the ban list. But I know groups that say we're playing without a ban list, like go nuts. So brackets are always there to set those restrictions or to set the outset expectation of what you're building. So within your pods, just make the restriction. Just say we're going to do this, or just say, hey, you don't have to build a 79-cent deck, but I'm going to build a deck that's extremely limited because I'm intending to do that. If you don't want to do that in your pod, you're going to stop me. Congrats. But I would say maybe try it out as well. And I feel like that's where we've gotten to some of our groups. Obviously, we still have CDH decks and we still play faster decks. But I keep saying the same thing. Just try it out. Get your group to try it out. I bet you'll have fun.
Just do it. Do it.
Do it. It's your old pal Chris. It's all right.
You're going to have fun, I promise.
You're going to have fun. It's going to be a fun time.
So have you guys ever built decks purely based off of artists? I found it's like one of the most challenging deck builds to cohesively build.
I was starting to, and then I found out the artist was not so good of a person. So
so you can't separate the art from the artist. Or you don't want people to think that that's what you represent?
Maybe a little bit of both. I just got the icks. I didn't feel good building it anymore.
Yeah, especially since you're building like on the artist itself is the whole theme of the deck.
And then when you bought the book that artist made for your kid, and then you feel gross every time you read into them.
Mega yikes.
Barf.
Why did you do this to me?
So no, I've tried it once and I got a bad taste in my mouth.
It's understandable. Understandable. Have you ever built one, Eddie?
Not by artist, but not specifically by one artist, but I've built decks where it's heavily influenced by an art style.
Okay.
Like all watercolors, a lot of Rebecca Gay stuff. Where
Or my favorite.
Yeah. The style is what I was going for, so I included art of hers and other artists of a similar style. I have a soft spot for Quentin Hoover. who is no longer with us. But a lot of his older artwork and the older Magic sets were memorable to me when I first started playing. So I try to incorporate a lot of his work as well as the older art styles.
Not by an artist that I didn't do it, but friend of the show, Jeff did build Bare Chested Dudes deck
So good.
with Zangief and Ladies Looking Left. I will say, I'm going to nitpick here, be consistent. Because one of them, it was like the lady was facing the other way, and he was like, it's her left, not...
Oh, right,
And I was like, so then you just have ladies looking any direction.
Yeah, when you're trying to reach for the theme,
What the
it really makes
the
changes
best reach
to
was a stag, and he was like, "There's no shirt on that deer, and that deer's got horns, so that is a male, bare chested." Again, that is a reach, but I will take it.
Right,
It fits
right.
into the restriction, but those are fun, super fun.
Yeah.
I know. Again, it's doing it for the memes, but
Meme decks are fun. You can make
you
it
get a
pretty
lot of
powerful.
laughs. You get a lot of
Yes.
laughs.
I had a deck that was built around Squee, right? And so the cards that usually involve Squee are not good, right? Anything that you would have to do to put Squee with something else powerful doesn't fall in line with Squee, right? And so when you build the meme deck, just know, like, hey, don't sit down and say, hey, I can play with anything. When you build those restricted decks, I think that really helps people that start building restriction, right, to kind of get away from the feel bad of building from it, of like having the conversation of saying, hey, this is what the deck does. It's all Squee, and it doesn't do anything but play Squee.
While we were talking just now, I thought of the dumbest restriction of a deck that I want to make, and it's the alphabet deck. So you have to set that many cards and then find a card that starts with A and a card that starts with B, and then just keep going through until you reset and go back to A. How many will that get you? 26 times 2, 52? 52 cards?
52.
All right, throw in some extra,
That's enough.
throw in some extra lands. Alphabet deck.
So would it be 5-color? I mean, most of your decks that you would build like that would be 5-color. I mean, how far are you willing to restrict down? I feel like you could have all 5 colors as mono with having that restriction.
I think you would just have to.
I say I feel like, but I'm actually now saying you should do that, and I'll expect to see
I
that.
think you would have to find the most academic commander and see what colors they're in.
The old Yisan.
I was gonna say Ruxa the patient professor. Mono green vanilla alphabet. Eddie, the king of restrictions, is shaking his head in stern disapproval, which means it's a great idea.
It is. I'll hop right on that.
You're just upset you didn't think of it first. Good thing there's no video. You can see the faces he's making. Oh God, there is a video.
Yeah, it's forever.
And here I was just about to say that building with restriction doesn't necessarily mean you have to make a meme deck. You can still build a powerful deck. You can restrict yourself to newer cards only, brawl style formats where you're still playing with the most popular, newest cards available in standard or modern, whatever the case may be. So your decks can be powerful. They don't even have to include game changers.
Restrictions doesn't mean it's not powerful at all.
For those who enjoy playing at a higher power level, this is just an alternative to give yourself a little bit more freedom. Don't feel like you are yourself restricted to play with only the most powerful cards.
Yeah, it's a good point that you bring up that when we've gotten into this conversation with people that are in different pods and everything, and we've talked about restrictions, that's usually the common response back is that I feel like I can't use everything, and I mean that's kind of the point of restrictions. But in saying that, we have very powerful decks that are built on restriction, that they are used that way because of how powerful can you make it within that restriction, right? And so I think that's kind of where we sit, collectively when you're building with restriction. A meme deck you can absolutely make very optimal within that meme and stuff.
And even I was gonna say, even as restricted and meme as the old guys looking at, I mean, that's old Gnawbone is in there,
Right.
Tiamat is in there, and I mean, and Reiki lets you draw cards on every single one of them that's cast, and you're just talking about you're just restricting creature type. So I mean, you're still putting good. I mean, it's a 5-color deck, so you're putting in optimal. You know, you're putting in your cultivates, your fetch lands. You're still playing strong cards. You're just limiting yourself in one area. That I still expect that card to be powerful, or that deck to be powerful, and for there to be justified interaction and response to that deck when it's played, even though it's a restricted meme deck. It's still full of really powerful, strong cards, intentionally so. It shapes the way you build it more than trying to punish yourself or trying to change the power of a game. I guess I feel like we've leaned into that being like, oh, it's cheap, play bad cards that you don't usually play. Like, that's super fun, but just saying you're going to limit yourself in one way, it just makes you deck build a little bit differently.
Yeah, that it doesn't change the fact that we still build the deck to function.
Yeah.
Right. That it's even if a meme theme is decided on, that the functionality of the deck will still work. Right. That you will still be able to operate within the game and still do things instead of just sitting there and wait for, turn 6 to play a 6-mana spell and turn 8 to play an 8-mana spell. That there's still things that we're doing that fit within the restriction to still do what we like to do in the game.
Check out our 3-mana rock episode. There's still, you can put great 3-mana
Yes.
rocks that
Into restriction. 3-mana ram. There's a lot of good things that are above those things, right? So it's one of the things that I learned in casual games that typically when I'm playing, so like when I was in MagicCon Chicago, and then when we have a pretty large commander night where we are at, so we'll rotate pods and stuff like that, and I'm actively looking for different pods to play in. Then I'll play, the first game I usually play with them is like a very suboptimal deck to what they're saying, to see where we're actually, playing, right? And so I would say it's one of the restrictions that I put on myself when I'm playing in a new pod, that the first deck I usually bring out is underneath what everyone else is, to see, because we traditionally build of like older EDH style, right? We have a lot of interaction in our decks. They're built that way. There's at least 15 pieces of interaction, whether it be removal or something like that, to keep our deck from being blown out, right? Is really why a lot of them are put in there. But it helps understand the pod that you're in. But unfortunately, if you're only playing one game, it just kind of, if you only got time for it, it is what it is. But I would say if you have not tried that, it usually has helped me not end up in a situation to where I played a deck that felt too strong.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us on deck restriction. Drop us a line. Let us know what your commander is, what you're building. Throw us some restrictions that you want to do. People will see it, try it themselves. Let's spread the disease. Thank you for tuning in. I will say, if you built the deck and you had fun building it, you did a great job. Thumbs up to you.
See ya.